What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror, your destination for all things horror. And in this video, we'll be giving you our non-spoiler review for the new Eli Roth horror film, Thanksgiving. And y'all, what a treat it is. Let's dig in.
Let's see.
So Thanksgiving is the new horror film from director Eli Roth. It was written by him and also Jeff Rendell, who helped write the short from the Grindhouse movie that this film is based off of. It stars Patrick Dempsey, Rick Hoffman, Gina Gershon, Addison Rae, Milo Manheim, and a bunch of other people that I had never heard of. But I think, we'll talk about it. I thought were pretty good in the film. Yeah. But the synopsis for this film, y'all, reads: after a Black Friday ride ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. And so that's kind of the breakdown of what the movie's about. And now we'll just give our overall thoughts, and then we'll jump into positives, negatives, and then give our rating. So I'll throw it over to you, babe. What are your kind of initial overall thoughts of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. I had a really great time. Super fun. It definitely follows that slasher formula.
Oh yeah.
A whodunit slasher.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about it. I guess we'll get into that when we talk about positives and negatives, but as one complete package, I thought it was a pretty good presentation.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you, but I think I'm even above you though.
Probably. Yeah.
Just overall, real
quick.
Which
is usually backwards.
It's usually flipped, ain't it? It's usually flipped, y'all. But no, on this one, man, I love this movie. I thought this movie was incredible. Honestly, I'd put it up there as one of Eli Roth's, maybe not his best movie, but it's definitely.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna put it. I'm definitely gonna put it up there as one of his top films. I love this movie. I thought it was just great all the way around. From performances, from the way the movie was paced, the kills, how much fun it was, and we'll get into the positives so I get more specific. But overall, like you said, this was a mystery slasher. Had a lot of those 90s horror slasher vibes, the whodunits, and you see a lot of inspiration throughout this film from those classic films. And honestly, this felt like an instant horror classic to me, 100%, all the way. This movie for me is y'all. It's going on my top. I don't even know, man. I will talk about it at the end of this video, but it's gonna be one of my top movies of this year.
Thank you.
I'm all over this movie, man. What?
That's all right. Let's get into it.
What you gonna say?
No, I think you're being a little extra about it.
Oh,
you're
okay.
exaggerating a little bit.
All right. Then let's talk about the positives. Then you go ahead and talk about the positives.
All right. Well, positives. The performances were generally good, right? This felt to me, it felt like a bunch of high school kids who were in the middle of some, crazy slasher movie. It felt like I compared it to Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Even some of the scenes to me reminded me of some of those movies.
Yeah.
But I think that Eli did a really good job of harnessing the good things about those movies, because those are some really, cheesy movies.
Oh yeah,
especially definitely. I Know What You Did Last Summer. But there's a lot of good things about it, and I think Eli did a good job of harnessing those good vibes from it.
Right.
I really like the overall feel of it, the way it looks. It looks like I don't know. It looks like Thanksgiving time, fall.
Yep.
A lot of the brown colors and auburn colors.
Yeah, that Thanksgiving holiday vibe was on full effect.
Full effect. It felt like the holidays. And the performances were so good in that you couldn't really determine who was the killer until it was almost time for it to be revealed. And that's when you were like, oh, I know who it is or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was it took a long time for us to try to figure that out. So that was really well done.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I did watch a couple interviews of Eli talking about this movie. And he said even when during the shooting process, he had different people acting as the killer because
I figured he was gonna do
he
that.
didn't want you to be able to figure out like by their movements or whatever who it was. So that was really awesome for him to do because I couldn't tell. We was in there like, well, he too
were
short,
analyzing
you
it.
know?
Yeah, we was
too
analyzing the hell out of this movie. Yep. Like, oh, what, like, what's the how's he built?
Yeah,
is he tall,
exactly.
short?
So that was a very
Is he
smart
big?
play.
Like, yeah,
very smart to do it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we couldn't determine who the killer was, so that was really good. I don't know. I mean, the gore was great. Like there was some stuff we were like, I was like grabbing your leg.
Yeah, that gore.
Like,
yeah, them effects. Hey, I'm telling y'all, them effects was
they
really
were
good.
So good.
Yeah.
And I mean, Eli, I expected that from him because he is really good at presenting goriness on screen.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's his MO. Like,
yeah,
a lot of his movies is all the way back from the beginning.
Yeah,
think about like Cabin Fever and shit like
Cabin
that.
Fever, Hostel. Green Inferno. Oh, I can't watch that movie. That movie was crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like we know he's like the king of this. So he did a very good job with that too. I'll get into my negatives later, so I'll make a bookmark with that when it comes to the gore.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, those are the main things I liked about the movie. So yeah, I'll kick back to you to give you your positives.
Yeah, so for me, for the positives, like you said, I thought the performances were all pretty much great. Like it felt pretty authentic. It felt pretty genuine. It felt believable. And there wasn't really any like real main moments where I was like, like the writing feels kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Like, we just watched It's a Wonderful Life last week. So that was kind of fresh in my mind. And I was comparing it to that because they kind of are not exactly similar in tone, but like holiday slasher. And they both try to be comedic in some ways.
Yeah.
Obviously, this movie is more serious than It's a Wonderful Life, but just because of it deals with like teenagers and stuff like that. This movie, Thanksgiving, did a better job of writing these teenagers, and then just the overall like setup of this movie, like and that's one of the positives too. The opening scene of this movie,
it was my favorite. I meant to say
it's incredible.
That opening scene is probably the strongest and best one I've seen this year.
That opening scene is so good. Like it sets like it's a strong opening. It sets the tone for the film. And it pretty much sets up, like, every one of these like mystery whodunit type of films, it starts with something bad happening.
Right.
That the people that are getting killed off were involved with in some sort of capacity.
Yeah.
And so the moment for this is epic. Like all the shit that's happening open scene is wild. So that was a good like setup. The overall story I thought was good. The movie was paced really good. Like the kills came at good times. The killer was showing up at good times.
Yeah.
I thought the gore and the kills were really satisfying. Like I really liked the aggressiveness, the special effects. And it stayed pretty true to the short as well. There's a lot of moments from that Grindhouse short that were in this film. You can kind of see them. They're not like a one for one, but they're definitely pretty close in terms of like how they look and how they feel. But yeah, what else? Like you said, like the holiday themes. The holiday themes were good in there. I like the costume design of this killer being like a pilgrim. Like after the movie, that's one of my thoughts. I was like, oh man, it's like a Halloween costume right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna I think like next year I'm gonna go look for the pilgrim mask.
If you be walking around looking like John Carver, we gonna have some issues.
Come on, man.
No, you're not doing that.
That jump was hard.
Yeah, not for you.
Okay, well, look, I thought it was hard, but nah, this movie was just a lot of fun. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
like we were having such a good time in the theater. Like sometimes the dialogue was funny. Some of the banter between the group, like the Scream vibes was heavy.
Yeah.
But but hey, look, that's my positives. Like I know you're over there looking at time, like because like look, I can honestly keep going about this. I really like this film a lot.
We're gonna have a full on spoiler review.
Where I can
tomorrow,
get to the details
later on, as you can talk as much as you want.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I gotta keep my bad. Y'all gotta keep it short a little bit. But all right, go ahead and give your negatives. This is why I went kind of long because I'm gonna barely have any negatives. It's gonna be short as hell. So go ahead. What's your negatives?
I only have a couple. Okay, so my biggest one is this movie has been basically 16 years in the making. If we want to say it like that, And if you watch the Grindhouse trailer, like it's extreme, right?
Yeah, it is.
And I was I was just wanting it to be just a little bit more. Like I needed them to at least get close to where the trailer was, and it's not.
Like some of the like vulgarity elements of that.
Because it made it what it is. So I was really looking forward to seeing some of this stuff play out.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, some of the kills are very similar as well, especially like the setup of things to the trailer, yet they don't really go over that edge.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. So that is the main issue I had. And then secondary, there were some moments. I know you're talking about the writing. There was just a couple moments that I was just like, I'm not look that you give you in the face like, I didn't really say that, or whatever. So, but that's it. That's the only two things. And the writing thing is very minor. Yeah. It's very minor. But the biggest one is just that I felt like they just didn't really go exactly as far as I was expecting them to go, I guess.
Yeah. And I can agree with that. They definitely, because watching it, I was like, oh, they're gonna do this.
And then it's like, nope.
But they didn't do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And now part of me can kind of understand. Like, given the climate, like, look at the controversy we're just having with Terrifier 3, where they're like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I can see why they might have chose not to go as vulgar with this film. And honestly, like, even with the vulgarity not being there, it doesn't really hurt it.
No.
So yeah, I'm not.
No,
like,
it's just
so it's not even like a hard negative. It's like a.
No, it's not like a hard negative.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
It's just what I wanted.
Yeah. So I can.
But no, the movie's still good. I still had a good time with it. Yeah. It's just I was hoping for a little bit more. That's all.
Yeah, and really, like, I can only think of one moment where I thought the writing and line delivery was a little iffy. I can only think of literally one moment, but I liked everything else. And the only other, this isn't even really a negative. It's more like I wish maybe they could have did this, and that was just have a little bit more of the jump scares, just to really dive into that classic like slasher feel. Yeah. But other than that, that's it. Like, I literally don't have any other negatives. And I was telling you when we were on the car ride home, I was like, damn. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to search. Like, I'm like, y'all, I was like trying to dig for negatives because I literally couldn't think of any, because I was like, this movie is dope. Yeah. Like, it's fire all the way around.
I will say this now. Normally you have like really stupid stuff that happens in the movie. Right. And there weren't a lot in here. No. There was a couple things, but it was only because of like the situation and not really because the people were acting stupid. It was just like the way certain things might have unfolded in that particular scene. Yeah. But there wasn't really times I was like, oh, she's so dumb. Because that happens a lot in these type of movies.
Oh, right. Yeah. These movies are ripe for stuff like that. Yeah,
but there wasn't a lot in this. So that was really like good.
One. So yeah, that was good too.
She was pretty smart. Like, she did a lot of stuff. Our final girl in this movie, Jessica, whatever her name is. Yep. I thought she did a pretty good job as far as trying to, the things that she was doing. So that was cool.
Yeah, the people for the most part were pretty smart. There wasn't any moments where I was like, oh, like, come on, you know what I'm saying? I think like overall everything was good. So with that, let's jump into like our final thoughts and ratings. I'll let you go first. Final thoughts and ratings.
Final thoughts. It was a great time. Definitely will watch this again going forward. Like, this is going to be something we throw on our list for the holiday season. Yep. I loved what Eli Roth did with John Carver's character. I definitely think he's going to be like on that list of like, top villains when it comes to slasher movies. He did a very good job of taking that Grindhouse trailer and making it into a movie, because sometimes it can be easy to create a short, but to make that short into a full length movie and make it good is very rare. Like, we thinking about that Night Swim movie that's about to come out. It was like, what are you going to do? How are you going to expand on
that? Like, how are you going to build a whole story out of this?
He was able to build a complete story around this. And he did a very good job doing that. So, with my qualms, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. So for my final thoughts, I pretty much agree with a lot of what you said. I thought the translation to feature film was amazing. The pacing is great. The killer is dope. The overall feel and tone of the movie was great. Special effects, great. Like, I honestly could not really think of anything I disliked. Like, it's rare for me to come out of a movie and feel so good about a film where I'm just like, damn, like, that was so good. Like, this movie hit on all of my expectations. It was literally exactly but I was hoping it would be a fun, holiday slasher with good kills and just a good time. And this is to me will now just be an instant horror classic, like automatic. Like I'm watching this every year now, like 100%. So with that, I think my rating is going to be like a 4.75 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, like I literally, there's almost nothing I dislike about this film.
I was so shocked.
This film is almost perfect to me.
Wow.
Like,
I don't think I've seen you give any movie a score that high.
And honestly, like, I gotta think about it some more. But just like fresh out of the theater tonight, this might be my favorite horror movie of the year.
Wow.
This movie's that good. Like it's like the perfect horror movie. It's so fun.
I think
and it's good scares and it's
fun,
good kills.
But I don't know.
We'll dive into it more when we do like our full spoiler review. So we'll actually get into the nitty gritty, the details, the things that we really loved or just kind of liked. And that'll come out on Saturday. So make sure you are subscribed to either our podcast feeds, like our audio feeds over on Spotify or Apple, or subscribe to us here on YouTube so that you can be there for that spoiler review. Because you're gonna want to be there for that. I think it's gonna be a fun conversation.
Sure will.
A fun discussion. But yeah, hey, look, like this video, share, comment. If you've seen the movie already, comment below what your thoughts are on it. Are you in agreement with us, or did you not like the movie as much? List all your favorite things about this film below. We'd love to discuss it with y'all. And again, make sure you tune in for that spoiler review because it's going to be a dope conversation. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.